Hi, my name is Wekesa. I am a nutritionist and the founder of the Healthierrr Solutions. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about nutrition management of diabetes. I know the largest population, or if not largest, most of the people are suffering or they have diabetes, either type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. So let me tell you what diabetes is. So diabetes, it is a condition where your body is not able to absorb glucose in the bloodstream the way it is supposed to be absorbed. This can be caused by either your body is not producing sufficient insulin or maybe no insulin at all. This is for people who are having type 1 diabetes, or maybe you have something called insulin resistance. So insulin resistance is in people who are having type 2 diabetes, and it is caused when we consume a lot of food, or let's say a lot of starch, which in results when it is converted into glucose in the system, you have high levels of glucose constantly over a long period of time, and eventually you develop something called insulin resistance, and therefore it means you'll be a lot of glucose in your system will not be absorbed properly by your body, and therefore you eventually develop something called type 2 diabetes. So both cases, type 1 and type 2 diabetes, you need to observe how you are eating so that your glucose levels in the bloodstream is well regulated, and which means that you will live a good life where you're not sick. Because if your glucose level in your body is not, or in your blood is not well regulated, you'll be sick. And when you're sick, it means your quality of your life is not good. And therefore, it is important for your medication to work the way it's supposed to work, and for you to be able to manage the hyperglycemia or hypoglycemia well. It means that you need to check on how you are eating. I know I have thrown there two terms, the hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia. So let me explain what those two terms mean. So hypoglycemia, it means that the glucose levels in your bloodstream have gone low. In hyperglycemia, it means that the glucose levels in your bloodstream have gone high. And therefore, you need to have your glucose levels within the normal range. When you're diabetic and you attend to your clinics, I know you have been told the normal range for the glucose in your bloodstream, and therefore it needs to be within that particular range. When it is high or when it is low, it is not good, and it can lead to maybe other complications in your body. Maybe it can impair your eye, it can impair your nerves, and many other things. So it is important for you to regulate the glucose levels within the normal range, for you not to develop other health complications, or for you to just live a normal and healthy life. So for you to be able to eat well, it is important for you to understand what your food is composed of. I know we have learned this in our primary or maybe high school, but let me just remind you what our food is composed of, and the different types of food groups that we have. So we have in our food groups, we have carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are our major sources of energy in our body, and it is important for you, if you have diabetes or any other person, to always choose the healthier options of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, let me give you some examples of carbohydrates. There are things such as arrowroots, cassava, sweet potatoes, Irish potatoes, maize or the maize flour. Those are some examples of carbohydrates. And when you are consuming carbohydrates, it is always advisable to go for the healthier options. The healthier options are the carbohydrates that are whole and they have minimal processing. Therefore, it means they contain the fibers and the vitamins, like similar to the original state. Those are the healthier options of carbohydrates. The unhealthier ones are the ones that you have removed a lot of content in them. You have removed the fiber and you have removed the vitamins, and therefore it means that when you're consuming, you're just consuming pure starch. Therefore, it is important always to go for the healthier options of carbohydrates. Why? Because you will get your vitamins and minerals, as much as it still is in small quantities, but it is still important for you to have those vitamins and minerals in your carbohydrates. And also, you will have fiber. Fiber for people who have diabetes is very critical for them to have foods that contain fiber. Why? Because fiber regulates the way the glucose is absorbed in the bloodstream. I've told you, you're not supposed to have hypoglycemia or hyperglycemia. So the foods that do not have fiber are absorbed very quickly in your bloodstream, and therefore it can lead to hyperglycemia. So for you to control that, one, you control with the medication that you have been given by your doctor. Two, you control with your nutrition. And nutrition is something that you can control because it is within your control. It's something that you see, no, I cannot eat this, let me just eat this other. So every time you're going for your starches or the carbohydrates, go for the ones that are whole. If it is ugali, for people living in Kenya, they know ugali, go for the one that has been prepared with whole flour. If it is rice, go for the brown one. Reason being, they have the fiber and they have minimal protein. So that is carbohydrates. They give your body your energy. Go for the healthier options always. Then another food group is protein. We have two types of proteins. We have the plant proteins. We have the animal proteins. I know we have a lot of myths concerning the plant proteins being carbohydrates, but just know we have plant proteins and they are proteins. As much as they still have some starch in them, but they are still classified under proteins. So examples of plant proteins are things such as beans or lentils. Those are your plant proteins. And then we have animal proteins. Animal proteins, you can have the red meat, the white meat, and the eggs, and the dairy products, milk, yogurt, cheese. Those are animal proteins. Always when you're consuming also your proteins, look at the portions, how much you are consuming. I'm going to be explaining briefly on how you can check the portions of all the food groups. But first, just consider every time you're eating, portion is very key in when you're eating your food, whether it's carbohydrates, the proteins, portions. Always in your mind, consider portions. Then another food group is vitamins and minerals. Vitamins and minerals you can get from your vegetables. Always, or we advise people to go for the dark green vegetables or the colored vegetables. If you are a Kenyan, the Kenyan types of vegetables like manago, spinach, the dark green vegetables, kunde, those ones. Or these purple kind of vegetables, the purple cabbage, also gojet type of vegetables, tomatoes are vegetables, onions are still classified under vegetables, broccoli, those ones are still vegetables. Vegetables will give you a lot of minerals and vitamins. And then also fruits will give you vitamins and minerals, but fruits also have sugar. So we advise people who have diabetes to limit the number of fruits to 4 in a day. Those ones will be enough, and also go for the fruits that have quite low amounts of sugar in them, such as oranges. I know they do not have a lot of sugar, or maybe the grapes, those ones, they don't have a lot of sugars in them, but limit. If the things such as grapes, what is considered a fruit is handful. So if you have a handful, make sure you're having to a maximum of 4 handful of your grapes. Those two small types of fruits. Handful is considered as a fruit. Okay, now that you have understand what the food groups are, let me go to the portions. So the easier way to know how much you're supposed to consume, you use something called plate model. Just a medium-sized plate, will be able to guide you how much you're supposed to eat per meal. So your medium-sized plate, you divide it into three portions. You first divide it into half. So that half is supposed to have your veggies, the ones that you have chosen for that particular day. You need to have half of that particular plate with vegetables. The remaining half, you divide it into two quarters. One quarter should have your starch, go for the healthier options always, and the other half should be proteins, go for the healthier options. Avoid things, the highly processed kind of proteins such as sausages, those ones, they have been preserved, of course, and I know they have elevated levels of salt. And with diabetes, you also do not want to develop other health complications such as hypertension or any other type of complications that are associated with diabetes. And that is why it is important to check what you are eating for you to be able to live a healthy or to be able to live a normal life. So always consider the healthier options of all these food sources, and I've already given you tips on how you can know which ones are the healthier options. So with your plates, I am very sure you can be able to regulate your glucose levels. If you consume according to what I have said, then it means that the glucose levels will be within the normal range, as long as also you are paying attention to your medication as prescribed by your doctor. So basically, that is it on what you need to check when you are eating. And I know this knowledge is very important for anyone with diabetes, whether you are a caregiver or maybe you have a friend or you have a family member with diabetes. Please always pay attention to what I have said to you. Water. Water is something that I need to tell you. It is important for you to drink your water. It's good. It helps you to regulate most of the things in your body. So make sure you're consuming your water on a daily. I know those portions that I have told you are very small amount of portions. And if you're not used to that kind of eating, then it means you feel hungry at some point. But when you're making sure your food is rich in fiber, you are taking the correct amount of water, at least 8 glasses per day, then it means that your hunger levels will be controlled, and therefore it means that you will not be consuming a lot of food, and you will also not be feeling hungry. And sometimes we confuse hunger and thirst. So maybe you just need to drink water and not to eat food. So it is important for you to drink your water, at least 8 glasses of water in a day, unless you have been restricted by your doctor. Things to avoid. There are things that you're supposed to avoid when you are diabetic. Highly processed foods, deep fried foods, these sugary drinks such as soda, those ones, they will just spike your glucose levels. So even any other person is advised to limit the highly processed food, the sugary drinks, the deep fried foods. Those ones, they are just going to compromise your health, whether you're diabetic or not. And now that you're diabetic, you need to be extra cautious with those kind of foods so that your sugar levels are again within the levels that are recommended by your doctor, or the ones every time you go to your clinic, you are advised to check on that. So I think I have covered most of the things. Oh, in terms of animal proteins, let's say chicken and fish, for you to know the amount that you need to consume, for chicken it is the size of the drumstick. So whichever part of the chicken, always go to that size of a drumstick. If it's fish, it is the size of your palm. You're supposed to eat, those portions are very small, therefore it means you're supposed to eat at least 3 meals in a day. So that plate that I've told you, the medium-sized plate, you can have those 3 meals in a day, but avoid eating very late at night. So it is good. At least latest at 8 you should have your meal. So because I know most of us go to sleep at night. So unless you're working at night, avoid eating very late at night. But yeah, that is the amount that you're supposed to be consuming, 3 meals per day. If you are hungry, maybe in between your meals, you can choose healthier options of snacks. I have already mentioned to you fruits. You can have a maximum of fruits, 4 fruits in a day. Another option can be nuts. Handful is enough for your snacking in that particular day. So with what I have explained to you, I know you'll be able to regulate your sugar levels within the normal range, and I know it will help you to it will prevent you from getting other health complications associated with diabetes. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. Share this to any other person that would want to understand more about diabetes. And also, I give personal consultation to people with different kinds of diseases. So please reach out to me. I can talk to you and give you more information, or maybe just help you on your journey, whether it is diabetes, whether it's weight loss, whether it is any other kind of health condition. I can help you to manage that through nutrition. So talk to me and talk to your friends. Tell them there's someone who can guide you in this, and you will be able to live a good life. So thank you so much for watching. Share to your friends and like and subscribe. Eh? Subscribe. Bye.